down the basement, lock the cellar door, and baby, talk bloody to me.
Hi, and welcome to another exciting edition of Talk Bloody to Me. I'm Matt,
And I'm Breezy.
and we're here again with another fan request from fan of the show Dazzle Doodle. He has requested 1982's The Thing,
Yep.
directed by someone you might have heard of named John Carpenter. If you're not familiar with him, Halloween is
Yep.
what is his claim to fame. Um, but yeah, so uh, uh, The Thing is a science fiction horror movie about a shape-shifting alien in an Antarctic base and how it slowly kind of takes over and kills everyone. And what's your
Oh.
experience with The Thing, Breezy?
Well, when I first time watching this, I remember little snippets of it, but my mom, because I was starting into really deeply into horror,
Mhm.
and she ended up buying me a VSS tape of the thing. And I remember watching, and I'm like, oh my God, I so don't like this. But then when I rewatched it,
Uh-huh.
I actually kind of like it a little bit better since I'm older.
Well, that's
And I,
good.
yeah, and I totally forgot that Kurt Russell wasn't here.
Oh yeah, he's the main star.
Yeah, I'm like, I totally forgot. Like, I love Kurt Russell. I love him. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then Dazzle Doodle, actually, we did a photo shoot of the thing. I mean, I wasn't the thing, but I kind of was. I had like
Right.
stuff coming out on my hands and the FX makeup artist, Brian Wells, Wicked Runes. But we did that like last year.
I
And
remember
oh my
that.
God, that was a lot of work. But I mean, it's okay.
I remember you guys posting the pictures of that and hit like the tribute to The Thing where you had like body horror stuff going on with FX makeup. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, I bet. It's imagine how much now think of how much work it was for that and think of how
Oh,
much work went into this movie with the
oh, for
effects and
sure.
stuff. Um, but yeah, that's one of the things that's most amazing about this movie is all the practical effects. Like this is 1982, so it's not just computer generated. This was
Mhm.
like actual machines and goop and meat and whatever they could get their hands on to make this look real. How old were you when you saw when your mom bought you the VHS?
Oh, good question. I know it was at Christmas. That's how I got it.
Uh-huh.
I really don't know what age. I want to say at least 7, 8.
It's pretty young.
Yeah. And I remember watching this, I'm like, oh my God, like this is so But then yeah, I rewatched it and I actually kind of like enjoy it a little bit more.
When I was a kid, my sister saw a movie on TV and she was talking about how it was like a guy laying on a table and how his head melted off and landed on the floor and turned into a spider and how it was the most scary thing she'd ever seen and she was so traumatized. And I was like, "What the hell movie is that?" And so like for years I was wondering what movie did she see? And I kind of thought she just made it up. And then when I was in college, they made McFarlane Toys had action figures of the Thing, and Aaron bought them. And I was like, "The Thing? What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, haven't you ever seen The Thing?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, well, we should watch The Thing." So we went out and rented The Thing, and I watched it, and I was amazed. I was blown away. But then when it got to a certain part, I was like, "Oh shit, this is the movie my sister must have saw because it's somewhat close to how she described it." And it's
Well, she
like,
didn't tell you?
no, she couldn't remember. She didn't know what it was called. She like just turned it
Oh,
on and she saw like she would like turned on the TV and it was like right in the middle and she saw a quick little like 5 minutes of it and was like, "Nope," and turned it off and that was the end of that. So she had no idea what it even was.
oh, okay.
Yep. So I didn't see this until I was in college, but I loved it. I was late to the party on this one.
It's okay.
Yeah. But so it starts off with a dog and it's being chased by a helicopter. Well, actually, it starts off with a really weird, kind of cheesy UFO going.
Yeah.
And it's like, man,
Well,
okay,
during that like opening scene, like the sound like boom boom boom,
yeah,
it kind of reminds me of like Cujo.
okay, I can see that.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds like Cujo, but
Yeah, and yeah, that effect wasn't as impressive as some of the later effects. There's a lot of good special effects in this movie. That UFO wasn't one of them, but you get to this Antarctic research base, and a helicopter is following a sled dog around. They're trying to kill it, so much to the point where he tries to blow it up with a grenade, but then totally biffs it behind him and blows himself up. And so they wanted this dog dead, but that was the Norwegian base, and the American base takes the dog in, and you
I'm
meet
trying
some.
to figure out why is he trying to kill the dog?
They must know it's the thing. Like it probably was already at their base, and I think actually
Oh,
there's a prequel movie that came out later that
oh
shows.
yeah, I guess like they were talking about like the was it the re I want to say the remake of thing that came out a few years ago.
Hmm.
That actually, I think, don't quote me on it. I think that goes backwards.
Yep,
So from the remake to that or to this movie to like the black and white
right. That's
is
what I've heard.
what I'm guessing.
Yeah. So I think that's how it is. Yeah. So they take the dog in. They're confused. Why would they want to kill this dog? You meet our wonderful cast of characters, including Kurt Russell as McCready, Wilford Brimley as Blair, Keith David as Childs. We just saw him briefly in Nope a couple movies ago, but
Yep.
and a bunch of other people, tons of other people. I will get their names all mixed up and confused, but it's a
Oh, that's
great
okay.
it's a great cast. You got Oatmeal Man himself, Wilford Brimley, in here. What more do you need?
Well, I just like Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell too, exactly. You got Kurt Russell, Wilford Brimley, and Keith David. I mean, it's a dream cast right there.
Yep.
So anyway, the dog eventually reveals its alien nature, kills the other dogs. They kill the dog with the flamethrower, but they found like a body, and the body was also a thing. And then the thing starts impersonating them, kind of picking them off one by one. And they eventually learn to test, like they figure it's all one organism. So if they test their blood, that could tell who's the thing or not. And so they put their blood, they cut themselves, put the blood in like a petri dish, and then they
Yep.
heat up like a wire hanger, and they stick it in there and it goes, tsh. And then that part I remember the first time I saw it was kind of a jump scare because they're like going through all the things. They're like, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, and they get to the last one, and he's like, and he touches it, and it just goes like, and like explodes, and like this whole big thing like grows out, and like it's crazy. I was
Pretty
like,
much it like
whoa,
explodes, like you like just comes right out of your body. It's like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
which I do like that though.
Hmm. Um, Another part that's really uh cool is when oh, who is it? They think is it Childs they think is having a heart attack. Someone they think is having a heart attack, and then they lay him on the table, and then he has the clear like the defibrillator, and he
Yep.
goes to put it down, and like the guy's whole chest like sinks in, and like is like a mouth and clamps shut on his arms. Like that's just amazing.
I like the dog, What so they were trying to get there's a couple more dogs like in this like cage type deal, and then they bring this one dog that guy was trying to chase down,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden like they're all laying there, and then the one's like just staring and
Mhm.
growling. I'm like, what the hell? What's gonna because I haven't seen it for so long, I probably forgot about that scene, but they're like sitting there, the dog's like, "Ah," and all of a sudden like they're all barking, and all of a sudden like it just just like his mouth is like
Yeah, it's really cool.
kind of reminds me of one of those werewolf movies that we reviewed.
Was it American Werewolf in London? The
I believe
transformation
so, yeah.
scene? Yeah, it's just like bleh.
Yeah.
It's like that. Yeah, it's there's a lot of really good like body horror in this movie, like things growing and mutating and flesh exploding and blood,
Yeah.
and It's if you're into that, this is a great movie. I both love and hate that. Those are like usually my favorite movies because they're always the ones that bug me the worst. But this is right up there. I love it. What other parts stick out in your mind?
You like it, but you hate it?
Yep, exactly. Because like this, or like The Fly, or like Evil Dead Rise,
Oh, okay, I got you.
Lake. What's the one? Not the lake. The frickin'
Lake of
Cabin
the Woods,
Fever.
Cabin in the Woods,
Cabin Fever. Is it Cabin Fever? Where they're
Cabin
like,
Fever.
yeah, that
Okay.
one. She's like in the tub and she goes to shave her legs and it's like skin
Oh
comes
yeah,
off.
I love that.
See, that's the kind of that's the
Yeah,
stuff
I
that
love
makes me
that.
squirm, but also that I love because it makes me squirm.
Nothing really sticks out to like really in my mind. The dog scene really stick out to my mind though. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. I think it's because like so many dogs are like laying there.
Uh-huh.
It kind of reminds me like all the females are like laying there and the male is like going to be in heat with all these dogs, like female dogs, but it's actually not. And so it's like,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and the whole movie's kind of like that in a way where you're not really sure what's going to happen. You kind of think something's going to happen, but and then all of a sudden it's just like, blah, and something happens. It's like, oh my gosh.
yeah, I
Like,
like that.
yeah, I like when when they try to kill the thing and like his head sort of detaches and lands upside down with like the spider legs and crawls away. Like the part that my
Oh,
sister saw and was talking about. It's like, that's really cool. There's a part where there's like it's just like a great big giant blob of goop and skin and flesh. That's cool.
I
Um,
like it.
I do too. Um,
There's another one that has like two head or two faces. I want to say two heads, but there's two faces that kind of
oh, yep.
like melting in a way, like coming off, but it's still there. But
Yeah.
there's two heads like combined. It's like, ooh, I like that too.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of really creative effects um, and creature design. Part of the plot is that Blair, our good friend Wilford Brimley, I believe it is, does a computer simulation and figures out that if this alien were to make it back from Antarctica to the mainland, it basically would take over the whole planet. And so they want to make sure it doesn't leave, so he sabotages like their vehicles and stuff. And then it's like, oh, did you do that because you're the alien and you're trying to trap us here? No, I did it because I'm trying to trap the alien here so it doesn't get and kill civilization. And the whole
Mhm.
movie just has a lot of paranoia and suspicion and distrust, and you don't know who's the human and who's the alien. And every once in a while it catches you off guard. You think you got it
Yep.
figured out, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, I didn't expect that to happen. So I really like it.
Same. I, it's a little bit different on John Carpenter's how he did this versus Halloween.
hmm
It's a little bit different. Like he took it in a sci-fi
Right.
rather than just horror.
hmm
Didn't Stephen King do that like the thing?
Um, I think I don't know. I think he liked the thing. I don't know if he had anything to do with it as far
I'm
as writing
if
it.
he hasn't, that would
Uh,
be really interesting if Stephen King's did the thing.
that would be cool. Yeah,
Yeah, I think he
sure.
would take it at a whole different level.
Yup. Um, yeah, exactly. Um, what else was I gonna say about the thing? Oh, wait, go when you said this is different from Halloween, it's so completely different because Halloween is just a small town. There's like nothing. I mean, Michael Myers, is he supernatural or is he not? But
Hmm.
there's no like crazy special effects. There's stabbing and there's blood and there's, picking the person up with a knife, but there's not like crazy mind-blowing special effects where this is aliens and mutations and body
Yeah,
parts exploding and dogs' heads ripping open and expanding and everything else. So you're right. It's like kind of
yeah.
a night and day difference between Halloween and this one. I guess John Carpenter has some other like kind of sci-fi, like one's called In the Mouth of Madness, and
Oh, yeah. He has I mean, he has a few different ones, but I don't really watch
mhm,
John Carpenter's sci-fi. I'm more like him as the horror type deal.
right,
I don't know, it's like a hit and miss with me between the two, but I kind of like him more on the horror side, and I like the sci-fi. Don't
yeah,
get me wrong, the thing is really amazing. It's
Hmm.
just that's my preference.
Right. I can't say that I've watched a lot of his sci-fi movies. I'm kind of curious. Maybe I'll have to check them out now and see what if they're any good or not. I'm kind of a sucker for dumb sci-fi though, so I'll probably like.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you know all
Yeah.
too well.
That's the only thing that we're opposites. You
Yep.
like sci-fi horror, and I am kind of like sci-fi horror. Depends what it is.
Yeah. But you're not into the Death Race 2000, for example.
Oh God, yeah, that movie.
Um, so what would you, there's been a video game sequel to this. There was the remake you said, which is kind of like a prequel,
Hmm.
and there's been comic books and all kinds of stuff. So, what would you rate The Thing?
I will rate this one 10 out of 10 for sure.
I agree completely. 10 out of 10. It's like I said a couple times already. If you couldn't tell, I like it a whole lot. It's one of my favorites. I think it's a great combination of sci-fi and horror and body horror specifically.
Now, if
And
you talk to me like when I was a kid and watching it, what would you rate it? Zero. Absolutely the zero.
you wanted more chainsaws?
Yeah. But now it's like, wow, I actually really enjoyed it. I don't know why I hated it so much when I was a kid. Maybe I was just so into the horror because I was
Mhm.
so hooked. I don't know.
Well, and there's a lot of the paranoia and the suspicion, and you can't trust this person because a lot of that might have just been over your head as a kid too. I think it would have been for me. That's more of like a when you get out into the adult world and everyone bites you in the ass and stabs you in the back. You learn to,
Well, I
you
really
learn
didn't
to,
really talk about like horror movies with really anybody. I mean, I did, but I didn't. But it's
oh,
like
sure.
when I watch these movies, like renting, it's like, oh, I watched this movie, I'm like, oh, I really like that. But I never really talked to it about my like, my friends when I was
Hmm,
little. So I don't
interesting.
want to scare them off.
Right.
When I got into middle school, then just starting to talk about it. But
Nice. I think I was talking about it in fifth grade. Was when I remember having Freddie or someone had Freddie trading cards in fifth grade.
oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Right? Can't beat that. All right. Any other thoughts or opinions on the thing?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. It looks like a lot of people are going back and starting at the beginning and listening to our episodes, which is cool.
Oh,
Keep
awesome.
keep in mind we do get better as we go along with experience.
Yeah, we do. We
Gi-
do.
Give us a little bit of a grace in those first few episodes as we're getting the hang of things. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for listening and for checking out and going back and checking out the back catalog. We really appreciate it. We do
Yeah.
have like over 100 past episodes. So if there's a movie you want to know our opinion about, you can look for it, see if we did it already, or you can always send us a request.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, did they did this movie? You can always like look it up. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt, but yeah, 2 years worth because 2 years.
Exactly.
And we got a lot more.
We got plenty more to go. We're just
Yes.
scratching the surface. All right. Thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you.